Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amirul Hasib bin Rosi, and for our experiment today, we will be doing crank and slider mechanism. Let's start our experiment. Firstly, select the desired crank and connecting rod, and then place the selected crank and connecting rod to the crank holder and slider holder. Record the length of the crank and connecting rod to the table provided. The length is the distance between the center of two holes, not the total length of the crank and the connecting rod. Rotate the crank to 0 degree by rotating the turning knob. The angle measurement can be read directly from the protector provided. And then, once the crank set at 0 degree, record down the initial position of the connecting rod using the linear scale provided. Then slowly rotate the crank of the apparatus for every 30 degree increment and record the displacement value for the connecting rod. Take the reading up to 360 degree. Repeat the experiment using different values of crank radius connecting rod. This mechanism is composed of three essential components: the crank, which is the rotating disc, the slider, which slides inside the tube, and the connecting rod, which connects the parts together. As the slider moves to the right, the connecting rod pushes the wheel around for the first 180 degree of rotation of the wheel. As the slider starts to travel back into the tube, the connecting rod pushes the wheel back into the tube. Based on the result, both theoretical and experimental table doesn't have much difference beside the fourth digits and above of the value. Therefore, taking 2 decimal points doesn't show the difference. In the table, the data will gradually increase until 180 degree. This is due to at 180 degree that is the furthest of the road could travel, and after 180 degrees the results are the same as the first half because the rod is returning to 0 degree or 360. The first causes of errors that may affect the result of the experiment is the equipment. The equipment that are being used during the experiment is important because it can severely impact the errors in measurement results. Secondly, environment. Environment could also influence the error. This is because the variables such as gravity, pressure, stress, strain, elevation could impact the measurement results. Therefore, make sure to take the average of the measurement data before writing down the final data. Thirdly, method that is being used when taking measurement influences uncertainty, therefore it is best to use one general method. And lastly, operator. The person who's taking the measurement influences a lot on the results, that they need to have the ability to facilitate the measurement process and perform a good work because it will impact on the measurement results. A few examples of a crank and slider mechanism in our daily life are train, car engine, the reciprocating motion of the piston, and lastly, air compressor uses the same principle but in reverse. In conclusion, from the result of the length of the rod doesn't affect the displacement. The length distance of the rod will always be the same even the length of the rod is different. The radius of the crank do indeed influence the displacement. Therefore, the bigger the radius, the more distance traveled by the rod.